Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching that TikTok. Anybody in the mentor group too? Like I see you're on there, Brandon. Let me see. Anybody that's in the mentor group, I'm just gonna add you guys as monitor moderators, and that way, um, if you happen to see any kind of craziness, then you guys can help me mute it because that keeps me from being distracted. Because every now and then I look over and I see something, I'm like, okay, buddy. So if you guys happen to see it or you get time, uh, you can give them the old smacking. All right, good deal, guys. I think we're good. Yep, got TikTok, got YouTube. All right. Neo's still going on in the background here. Guys, welcome. We have 10 minutes. Thought you saw news at 10. Let's double check. This is a good thing to bring up anyway. So, you can see April 16th is the next three. We call them three head because of our old thing, right? But, three bar, I guess. I don't know, would be more appropriate now. But, not till there. Now, we did get one news that came through that I was like, ooh, I didn't see that on our thing, right? You can always double check by clicking here and just unchecking this filter. And so there is one that you're probably seeing here at 10, right? But it only has it as a 1 impact, right? And then we have this all here because that's going to show you all the other ones. And so you can kind of scroll through and see, right? There's nothing else really impactful on that. I mean, this housing market, right? But it's not going to, yeah, it's not going to do anything crazy. Yeah, you got the crude imports and stuff, 1030. So being the fact that, but I mean, it's trading views recognizing it all as low impact. So probably won't be real crazy, right? But yeah, it's always good to know. So, guys, just really quickly, a couple of really exciting announcements in the growth of Neo, right? We're gonna call it that. So Neo, as you guys have all seen, man, he's getting smarter and smarter. He's figuring some stuff out. I don't know what I was talking to Alex about it. Yeah, yesterday, especially towards the end of the day, but he was detailed. Like y'all see like how he was posting some of these that were like the size of both of these. Like I'm like, dude, putting out levels like, and it's funny because I asked Alex even because it was so dramatically different of the detail. I was like, what did you do? Like what? He was like, I didn't change anything. I'm like, he's like, why? Is he broken? Like, as a developer, his always thought is, is it broken? I'm like, no, it's not broken, but like, dude's out here reading for like 8 minutes because it's so detailed, which is great, right? And it's fascinating to see not making changes and watching him just get a little more detailed on things than he was. So when you sit there and look at it now, as you guys know, I'm trying to figure out a way to fast track his learning of certain things. And there's some things I can do, some things I can't do, without confusing him. So it kind of dawned on me. It sucks because at times he'll be, we'll be here and he's like, oh, all things aligned, bullish, 9 out of 10, we're going to the moon, right? And uh, you guys hear me say, well, he doesn't see this, guys. He's not looking at the 1 hour. He doesn't see this. And this is where me and Alex kind of go back and forth for a bit, where he's like, it just takes time. He's gotta see it, right? He's gotta identify that as a high time frame level, right? And that it rejects or doesn't. Like we kind of left it open to him to eventually just figure it out, right? And to me, I was like, man, this is not good enough. I want this dude to get as smart as possible and give you as much data that's important as possible, um, as soon as possible, right? So, I don't. Nobody wants to hear, hey, he's gonna be amazing and make you all this money in a year, right? And so I'm trying my best, guys, to fast track him. So it dawned on me that since Alex opened a portal for me to communicate with him, I'm like, I was kind of joking about it actually, right? So this is how this started. And this is our behind the scenes, right? Is we literally were talking, and I'm like, how do we get him to see these levels, these important high time frame levels? And he's like, there's no way, like without candle time and it happening, and like, and so I was like, I mean, you have a portal for me to talk to him. Can't I just tell his ass like these are important levels? And he's like, no, well, and he always does this like, no, well, I mean, yeah. He's like, but his mind's going crazy now too, because he's like, how does he know it's like a 1 hour level or a 4 hour level or a high time, like, because we didn't really inject, and he hasn't really learned high time frame things, right? Like he thinks high time frame is 5 minutes because that's what we allowed. That's why you always see on the high time frame macro 5 minutes, because that's what we told him to do, right? And so we didn't. I'm like, how do we not confuse them, but get him to understand that these other levels are important, because they are, right? And so he actually figured out a way for me to do it in the back panel, that I can force feed him some key levels. He'll lock those in as part of his logic as if he's seen them, right? And the beauty of 1 hour type levels is they don't usually change much. Like, shoot, Bobby yesterday, I don't know if you're on here, but maybe he's like, man, that bounced right off this level you did like a year ago, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
right. So they don't really change, right? And so I told him that. I said, well, sometimes I delete things and add them or whatever. Like, if I give him a level and then I decide to adjust or change or add, like, how does that work? And he's like, well, it'll just remember the level you gave and it'll know the new level you gave. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's pretty fascinating. So I think we figured out, well, I know that we figured out how to force feed them these. And so you're going to see, we're doing a test run with it. It's just a test run, guys. All of these levels that you see on my screen here have now been directly fed to his data bank. And that's why you see him now saying things like the 1 hour horizontal resistance at 26035, which is what I told him it is being tested. Now it's great because now that he understands that's a 1 hour high time frame read, when it rejects off it, blows past it, whatever it does to it, how it treats it, he already thinks he knew that from a while ago, right? So it's really cool. And so I haven't looked yet, Andrew, but I was on it earlier. And so very, very exciting stuff, guys. So now he sees these lines. Now, what I don't know, but I'm pretty sure because the way Alex told me he tested it, I'm pretty certain, because of course, you guys know with me, whenever I find something cool like that, I'm like, it's never stops there. I'm like, what about my trend lines? If I get a really good trend line, can we, because that's the hard thing too with whether it's PineScript or even AI, is he's like a child out here, or like you guys when you first do your your trend lines, and he'll do like, oh yeah, that's a trend line. Yep, nope, it went that way. Nope, there's another trend line. Nope, that one's too. Oh yeah, that's a new low. And I'm like, no, dude, like you're. It's frustrating, right? Because it's like almost like he wants to draw them everywhere, right? Or like, and then there's subjectiveness, right? Like where the impact of them, where do you start it, the high, the low, like all these things are really important to that, right? And so that's another hard thing. So I think we even figured out how to teach him how to do the math and calculations of a trend line and how to identify them. So we're going to start with high time frame. I'm not going to do low for probably a bit, because he's just like, again, we got to assume, like, everybody hears AI and they go, oh man, he's gonna trade money for me. I'm like, he's still a child. he's in beta for a reason. He doesn't even know what a trend line is, right? He's got to even understand what does that even mean. And so by me forcing him to understand a high time frame one, eventually he'll learn what it is, right, and how to calculate it. And so I won't know, like this one he doesn't know. We're testing this one and we're testing this one right now. And we won't really know if he sees that until it gets close, right? So I might, now that I have this one that we identified from the mentor group, I may inject that one in there too, right? So we can just, I want to see him say, as we approach the 1 hour trend line, whatever, right? Like I want to see if it's there. Because remember, and we only have 1 minute for open, guys. I'm not touching nothing in open. So that's why I'm not. Yeah. I'm not interested in touching anything in open yet. So I'm gonna jump to that in a second, anyways. But let's let this one settle for some reasons that I told the mentor group. So anyways, with that, right? Like I'm gonna inject that. We'll see if he says that. But if we can fast track his thoughts on that, we have some really cool plans for him as he starts to get better with it. So pretty exciting. I like it. His TA has been pretty spot on. He's evolving. You guys are all watching that, and so it's pretty fun to watch. But it was kind of a cool little breakthrough yesterday that I was excited about. So other news, I shared with my mentor group today that we have a very complex buy-sell signal type of indicator that we're creating that I don't know when it'll be done. I don't even want to throw a timeline out there. Otherwise, Paul's going to be like, dude, come on. Could be days, could be weeks, could be months. I don't know. But that one is what we're trying to create some complexity into it for Neo. So then we can feed him some signals because, again, he doesn't even understand what a buy-sell signal is, right? So eventually we're going to feed him that, and then you're going to start seeing things like, hey, I see a long opportunity around this price range. I probably won't let him do specifics for a long time, but at least he can give you a range, right? Like, hey, see a buy or see a sell. Now, I was going to keep that as a secret sauce for only Neo. We will not put that on the website at all. But through the way I'm doing it and the way that I've guided the mentor group, they'll understand really how to use it. And so, and obviously all of your success is important to me, but those that are in my mentor group are going to just get some special attention, right? Special perks that I talk about. And so I thought about it, and when we do get it going, right, I'll probably give it to the mentor group, even though we're not going to release it to the public. So that's going to be a special sauce thing for them, guys. Anybody who's wanting to chat about the mentor group as we jump into the market open trading, my spots are filling up quickly. I have like 6 that are approved, but they just need a little more time, so I told them I'd hold their spots. And so there's like 12 left, and I still have 2 that just sent me something yesterday. So once those get to 50, not to be harsh on it, but no matter who it is, right, I'm not doing more than 50 because it'll dilute the program, right, and it's not going to let me give the attention that they need. So if you want to get in, you want to just have a discussion about it, let me know. If you're on TikTok and you want to do any see any kind of mentoring, you can always email me as well. So let's jump into open. I was not in a very big rush to jump into a trade, and I still am not, because guys, quickly, we have a massive absorption here. Let me mute the indicators. We pushed, we absorbed. Fell, should have dropped, didn't, came up, right? Created a bearish pattern, which then clearly went up. We have an established trend. There was bearish things that were playing out, bullish things that were playing out. There was bearish things that validated, bullish things that validated. So it's very both ways, which makes sense, because yesterday in my mentor group, I had told them all on Asia Open that to be careful, don't chase longs and shorts, because we're likely to consolidate. And so really cool to see that played out, which leaves me to why I'm not in a big rush to trade right now. When you're in this area, guys, this becomes very, very dangerous. And I know we're still in our market open, and so just hear me out before you take a trade. This is a dangerous area, because if you come back like this, anything above here, right, these are our last peaks before we attempted or created the all-time high. Now the all-time high here is going to be different. If anybody ever is wondering, why is mine different? If you have this little button down here that's adjusted for contract changes, if I have that off, this is the highest candle that you will find, right? If I turn this on, this is the highest candle that you will find, right? So that's why I have this one as purple as my actual peak, right? Actual high, all-time high. But then I have this one as a significant level. Now I have it yellow. I probably could change it something else. You know, maybe I do like a light purple like that or something. I don't know. We'll do that. That way it's a little different. That way I kind of know what it is, right? But my point on it is, if you're following here, this chart, each time that we've got into this level, we push pretty high, making shorts pretty dangerous, right? Each time we have lost this level, we have dropped like a nut. So we have not quite broken and sustained that level. If we can't break and sustain that level, we are going to drop really hard. It's not going to be full-on crash, right, until we break some kind of trend line like I have here on the Ganfan, right? Then we'll have a really deep pull, right? But there's a lot of bullish pressure near an area that arguably should reject, right? If you play trend line logic, you guys know the 15-second. I'm a big fan of make it make sense. We're now up against a critical level. Here's our next level of support on high time frame, and we are dojiing and creating hammers, and we're creating absorption really close to this, which tends to lean more towards a pop, right? So be really careful shorting. Now, my rules, because I'm a top and bottom trader, is when I'm up against this stuff, I am only short. I'm looking for shorts, all shorts. So the top and bottom in me is going to probably lean towards more shorts, but I got to wait and be really confirmed, because we're creating hammers in areas we shouldn't create hammers if we're going to go down, right? If it shows weakness. And so it makes shorting here kind of dangerous. Anything from here to here is going to be very dangerous, whether you're long or short, because if you're long, you can get caught in that deep sweep. If you're short, something I teach in the mentor group mostly, but I do talk about it here, so I'll share. Whether it's the 15-second, whether it's the 5 or 1, it doesn't matter. 1 hour, I don't care. It's the same logic. We tend to, you hear me say this a lot on the 15-second, right? We tend to push, pull, then we try again. If it fails to create a higher high, we almost certainly come down and create a lower low, which we did. Now this is high time frame, so it takes longer to get there, right? But we did. You guys have heard me say a million times, when we reclaim that low, we tend to explode. There's other reasons. I called this explosion a while ago. But that does, right? Now that this is exploding, what do I typically say when it gets back to there? It's a pretty high probability of breaking, right? Pretty high probability of breaking. So that doesn't really scream, let me short this, right? But when we're so high in the range like this, and we haven't quite cleared that level, I don't know that I really want a long either, right? Now, I'm not ever going to trade fearful, and none of you should, but if you get where I'm going with it, when you take your trades today, trail them quickly, right? Get your scalps. Do more scalping. Long range plays are going to be a little riskier. Now, where I would take a long range play is if we call this breaking above here and the macro supports it, and you get enough away from it, you can grab trend lines and almost try to ride that sucker pretty high, right? This would be a better kind of long range, right? For me to do long range play on a short, it's just really dangerous because we're getting really good bullish pressure in an area that doesn't make sense to have a lot of bullish pressure, right? So again, top and bottom trader in me wants to short the crap out of it. The logical trader in me knows it's probably not a good idea right now. So does that kind of make sense for you guys? So not every day is a great day to trade, guys. It's not. I didn't take a ton of trades yesterday, even though I called that it was going to do it, and it did it. I didn't take a lot of trades. So when you look at it right? If you guys recall, when we were doing this, I said when you break this, hell, I said when you break this, or I think it was this one actually, don't short the top, right? And so, kind of played out. One other thing that is so freaking cool, and guys, I am not trying to indicate or sell you, but I just think it's freaking awesome, is, did you notice, because I didn't even notice this when we were trading yesterday, the entire pump, the last sell we had was here. So from Monday, 8 a.m., our 1 minute has not thrown one short. You see that even with aggressive mode, not one short until there, which then began to break down. And so, again, you know, if I was a salesman wanting to be like, guys, look at this. We didn't take one short. We made $87,000. Like, send me $1,000 and I'll give this too. Will be yours. No, but I'm not. Like, this is not something that happens all the time. It's amazing to see that in such a strong market, in a period of 2 days, how high we went, and that a 1 minute time frame did not throw one sell. That's fascinating, right? So to me, it just goes back to what I was saying. And again, for anybody who has the precision entry engine, if you hit this little settings, if yours looks different, I do enable the aggressive signals, and I do enable the show re-entry for doji, because I don't use this as a buy entry. I use this as a guide that says, well, if I'm buy, I'm probably not going to take a short, because there's a good chance that we can go up, right? And so if you took that logic alone and just said, hey, this is going to be my bias, you would have not taken a short the whole time, right? Now for me, because yesterday, let's see, yesterday open was like here. I took some longs within here, but I kept telling y'all I'm not shorting this. But then we got so high that I'm like, I'm not comfortable of taking a long because this could come back. But at least this would keep me from saying, hey, I'm not going to take a short until I at least see a short, right? And so it's more like, I kind of hate that we have the words in there, buy, sell. I wish we could do it like momentum. I don't know. We'll have to think on that, Paul. But because I think the word buy and sell just is so like, I'm in, right? And I've treated this where when I turn it on all of the entries, so it's very aggressive, showing a bunch of them, it just gives me bias, right? It helps with the bias. Now, if you look at here, now we're sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. I mean, it shows that there's consolidation, right? It shows that there's a little confusion of where we're going, right? And so, to me, it shows a better picture like that. Have you guys thought of it like that or seen that? I know some of you guys have this in here. Does that make sense? Anybody? Thoughts? All thumbs up? Good deal. And you guys can thumbs up. I know some of y'all are at work, so you're good. But that's kind of how I interpret that. You know, and again, guys, the best thing in trading you can always learn is that not every day is a great day to trade. So let's study where we're at and what we're looking at. So we know that this is the prior day high. We know that this is a strong resistance. We know that Neo now recognizes that as a resistance. He's not talking about it anymore, but you can see when we were below it right there, he was talking about it, right? So he's going to see that line. He's going to know that it's there. So we got that. So we know that looking at this, we have a heavy confluence here, which is going to give us a lot of resistance. We have heavy confluence here that's going to give us a lot of support. If we don't breach above, I think it was 60 was the one that I marked. Remember I said that yesterday, guys, in the mentor group, 60? So I got pretty close. We got 59.50. If we don't breach and hold 60, guys, the 35 is a good level. But if we don't breach and hold this above 60, I think we do run the risk of collapsing, right? Now, we're going to want to look at trend lines, dojis, the DOM, things like that, right? Like see where the buy pressure is, where the sell pressure is. And then we'll make a determination. So let's look at our risks of up, risks of down. If we go up, we only have 71. From there, there's a nothing, right, till all-time high. So any kind of breach wick close above here, you damn sure don't want to short it, because I got no risks, nothing there. If anything, you want to be more short, right? Now, we have the POC at 91. Any kind of breach of that would give us a breach of a trend line, which is likely going to pull to here. Me personally, I would like to see us sweep it more south. I think that it needs it. It's this market, it needs to cool off a little bit. I think, I'm not for sure, but let's look at high time frame. Yeah, see, we're coming out of a 44 over bought. We're still at like 20. So we're cooling down, but we're still so overbought, it's not even funny, guys. And so that's what makes me nervous taking my longs a little, right? But I'm not sure that I want to see some strength before I'm willing to really short this bad boy. So, trap, we got 1, 2, 3 levels that could identify as a trap area. So we want to watch that as they break and bounce. Sometimes, I've done this before, testing, and it's kind of cool. Like if I want to be, let's say I want to be long, because I'm like, I don't care. We're going to come back, but I'm going to ladder it or grid it or whatever. You could use this as almost like levels of entry, right? Like those that I taught how to ladder, right? The 5 minute has a couple levels as well. All right, we got this one. We got all this down here. So we know this is very staunch, but it's way down there. We know this is very strong. And then we know this has to break, or we're likely not just dumping, right? So this is where it gets a little tricky, because if you love the indicators and you've seen how good these traps are, as we finally get the breakdown and confirmation of our kind of short level into here would be like there on the 1 minute, right? It'd be like here. That's kind of in that trap area. So you'd almost want to get it below 935, which would be somewhere below this low there, right? Then that would invalidate that trap, and it's likely to pull to the next trap, all right? So it's a little, if you get where I'm going, why I'm not in a rush to be like, guys, let me read this. Because there's so many variables right now that can happen that it's just not that simple. So if we scrunch this down and we look, see how compressed this is right here? This is why we're seeing that. Breach wick here, close above is likely going to run. Breach wick here, close below is likely going to fall. So if you want safer entries, if you are trading funded accounts, or you need you really need to get that win, right? Because it's almost passing something like that. Your safer play would be to look for more shorts in this area and to look more longs in this area, right? Anything in this area is just so dangerous, guys, so dangerous, because there's so much kind of condensed moving averages in here. We got trend lines, things showing we should drop, things showing we should push, traps showing we should push, like we're getting another one. Like I said, normally top and bottom trader in me, I'd be shorting the crap out of that. But knowing how that structure looks and how it lines up in the higher time frame, it tells me that there's a good possibility that we blow through that and we just go today, right? And we're kind of seeing it on the open here, where, remember, you guys know, we always talk about this, where we get the push, right? So open happened where? Like right there. Up, down, right? Like we weren't really trading it, but it's funny to see not only the indicator is calling a very compression kind of area, but my concerns of not really sure going up or down played out just from watching open. We didn't really have any cleared up or down there either, right? We didn't really break it up, we didn't really break it down. Then when we went in, we got to close above. Now you got to ask yourself, if this closed above there, why didn't we just go? Because that's above the high of our open swing doji. That should have just went, right? But then it broke down. So that shows that the buyers are trying, they're there, but the sellers are like, oh, we ain't gone, right? Now in the inverse of it, we broke down and we bounced damn near perfectly on that trend line. And it almost pushed us back up to the top. doesn't really show that the sellers got strength because they couldn't even breach a trend line. They couldn't even breach wick. Heck, I think they barely, almost even missed getting to it, right? Yeah, the line looks pretty close. Right, so you can see pretty close, but it didn't quite even get to it. So that doesn't really show strength in the bears. Now we're internal, right? We have the high and we have the low and we're internal. So we want to see, now this high and this low has a lot of room in it. So if you're a micro scalper, right, you know, when it gets to the highs, you could wait for the breakdown south, or it gets to lows, you wait for the breakdown north if you're more top and bottom. If you're more continuation, right, you would need to do something. For me, you know, playing the continuation, I would need to see bullish things playing out bullish things. Like we have a push with a bear flag playing out right here. See that? Push, bear flag. This thing breaches, which it kind of tried to do here. It's got to create a higher. We got to get to here, and then this tells you a story. If it wicks it, it's got strength. If it hits here and then we absorb, it does not have strength, and it's likely to collapse. Right, so here it goes. So we can watch and see where that is, right? Now, again, to be bullish continuation, I got to see micro bullish continuation things happen, if that makes sense, right? The other thing I want to look for when I'm continuation is the pressure northern happening when the pressure northern should happen, right? And so if I get pressure here and then all of a sudden I just sweep and then I can't reclaim that, your micro continuation just failed, right? So you might be a little more cautious taking that continuation play. Now, if I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, man, I want to short this because we're internal, we're at the high, let me short it. Well, if continuation bullish stuff's playing out, you probably don't want to short that, right? You want to wait until something collapses. So we did see it here. See how we got the push? That should have happened. This wick is big. We didn't get the breach. So now it doesn't mean we're not strong. It just means we're not super strong. Now, how we determine if we're strong is we have the push, didn't reach it, but the pull, notice how we did not breach halfway. See that? How it's holding it, almost perfect. You guys are going to eventually get to see that. You got to ask yourself, yeah, we didn't push high enough, so it's not strong, like super strong, because super strong would have been pushed through. But it's strong enough to try to hold the halfway. Now it's trying to lose it, right? See how it's losing it? I'd be curious. So now let's think of the inverse. If we lose it, breach wick that, which we just did, and we get a close below that, it's going to sweep back to that 200. Now, again, you got a micro scalp from within. Either you're a top and bottom and you're looking for that setup to scalp it back. I think it's kind of dangerous. This is why I'm not jumping in, because anything, I put a lot of weight on my prior day high and my prior day low. That's just me. Let me refresh Neo too. So
hello, I'm Neo. Let's capture
so
the
you guys
move.
can watch it, and I'm gonna unmute him once we get some of this down, because this is really important today, guys, because it's critical. I do not like to short anything that holds support above a prior day high. I just don't. It's very bullish, right? Until we breach back in. That's why I create this here. I do not short anything unless I get below the prior day high, and I don't even like to short in this color area. I want to short below it, right? Because that gives me confirmation that we're breaking down the prior day high. So, not interested in taking shorts until that happens, but I'm not really interested in taking longs until I see some absolute proven structural support within here, right? And so that's why I'm not quick to jump in it. If I were to be more biased, it would be more long than short, I think, because of the fact the way the high time frames all line up. If we do explode here soon, or we do get this breach wick close above and we explode, which is very possible, then I don't know that I would just jump in and chase it unless I take the micro entry or a 1 minute entry, something like that. And then I'm going to trail it pretty close, because remember, anything in here, this is what is so dangerous of this range. Anything in here that gets pushed, no matter how fast it goes, can be absorbed instantly, because this range is just known for explosion or full collapse. It just can, right? So if you like to use an ATM or you want to play it safer, right? Like doing like what I did on mine is I showed y'all how to set up the ATM where you just do like a TP thing, right? And that's not a bad strategy to do today because that way when you enter it, it just, you get caught with a sweep, at least it TPs you out, right? Not a great day to really swing big. Because again, anything in here that gets met with some decent pressure could full collapse. Now, if we get any kind of push with some deep absorptions, bearish things start playing out, any kind of reclaim of this low is going to probably come pretty violent, right? Because we'll be outside of our kind of consolidation. Likely anything that breaks this low or sweeps back here, because see where it is, would be like here, is going to almost guarantee to hit there. Pretty good probability we'll even come to this trend line if that happens, right? But as of right now, we're seeing push, bull flag push. We got a sweep, which to me looks more stop hunt the way we absorbed it. The fact this bull flag broke down and didn't quite continue the way it should, because remember, it should have, on the breakout, you want to see that breach here. Then you want to rear back and hold that high, then that shows strength. It didn't show a lot of strength, right? Because the sellers came in. What shows a little bit of strength, which is why I'm not eager also to jump into a short yet, is we have absorption to the north in an area that, arguably, we're in a micro bull flag breakdown, right? It should have held, but instead we absorbed, went back. Now we got to close above. See how we got to close above here? That none of these things signal take it short. And many of us, including myself, along the way, we just get caught in this like, oh, we're so high in the range, like we got to go down. The market doesn't got to do anything. It can, right? We can go up as much or as long as we want. But there's no chance that I'm going to take something. Oh yeah. I have a my funded on my intraday that I'm at like 1,000 on this other one with 2K drawdown, and it's only TBs because of that. Because the intraday drawdown will destroy you. If you're intraday drawdown and you're not paying attention, and you're let's say you're long right here, that right there to that right there, depending what your volume is, like you blink and your account's gone, right? And it didn't even break your thing. So very scary when you're getting these wild sweep wicks to do intraday without a TP. So same thing here, right? Intraday's gone if you're long. And if you're short, you probably got dinged out anyways. So, but see how we're seeing the continued pressure? Now, let's use that similar logic, guys. And this is my recommendation. This is what I'm likely going to do today is I will not take a short until I get below here, or we get high enough in this range and my micro and my 1 minute throw me a short. I need both those to line up, right? No chance I'm shorting it, right? Now, if they're both holding long and we're getting long things playing out, which they are so far, right? This should breach weight close above here probably pretty soon with the momentum it looks like it has. If we can continue to do long things, right? I'm not opposed from taking something early style entry with it, but I'm not super interested. I'm not super interested in taking longs after it explodes. So for me, when this decides to pop, I almost, if you take that one trade and trail it or whatever you get out, when it does decide to pop, I almost want to wait for a pullback, give me some kind of trend or structure doji, and then I'm going to play more continuation. Now, I'm more of a top and bottom trader. I always say that, and everything. It's funny when people say things because everybody thinks the market's so black and white, and it's not. Everything's a little subjective, right? And so, even though I'm a top and bottom trader, I could still take a continuation here, right? And I can still stay long with the continuation, but it just means that I need a pullback confirm before I go up, right? Because as a top and bottom trader, I don't want to take things on breakout top. I want to see a push, pull, give me confirmation, then I'm taking it. I'm still top, bottom. right? It's not macro, micro like that easy, but I'm still top and bottom. So see how the pressure is going, guys. We got the breach wick here. Neo's calling out his stuff. I do want to unmute him so we can listen to him as well. You're going to notice a few things with Neo. He's going to talk about slope. I'm trying to get him to understand. I love that you're wanting to throw out the data, but I've sent him a few messages saying, can you just make sure that you explain like it's shallow, deep, wide, what does it mean, like all that, right? Like we want to make sure that we're explaining all these things, right? So, and so he's going to try to do that a little more. You're going to see things like this pop up. Now, what time was that? 55? I got to flag that one. Hold on. Let me read it, make sure. Price. Oh, never mind. Okay, I was like, ooh, I got to flag that because I looked at resistance and 26035. I'm like, bro, that is not resistance, that's support. Like, you know better, right? But he actually said the price has reclaimed the significant resistance. So he's not wrong. Okay, I was about to go, what are you doing? So again, guys, the words that he says really matter. You got to really pay attention to what he's saying because it really makes a difference. So we did have news hit. We're getting a pullback, right? You guys know when we get these breaches, we always get kind of a rear back. Doesn't mean we're dropping. If we were going to go short, I'd want to see a breach here, close below, and then that would give a full collapse back to here. Anything short of that's just a rear back, right? So let me just read his summary. Market showing sign of upward movement across multiple time frames, indicating buyers are in control. However, there are signs of temporary pause near a key resistance point. Traders should wait for confirmation, continued upward movement. So what he's saying is we reclaim this point. There's a short pause. You want to wait for the confirmation, right? So we push. We never got the close above the breach wick. We're getting a pull, so we'd want that close above. That would be our confirmation, kind of like what he's talking about. So let's see. I'm gonna unmute him, guys. Feel free to ask questions. I'll just cut you off if I see something substantial. But I know that was a lot to absorb, and maybe your head hurts listening to it all. But it's all important, right? See how we got the rear back, and then it's coming up again, right? We're trying to push. The DOM looks like it still wants to. Remember that 60 level is pretty important, and it played important too. You can see all the resistance, and so it's didn't even have enough steam to get to Lisma. See that? Before it reared back up. Now, again, guys, I'm gonna say things, but don't get overexcited, right? You gotta still, you know, set your TPs, get your scalps. You know, don't get crazy with it, right? So let's see. We just got a high at 82. This is 73. Man, that like barely arguably missed that, right? So I don't want you guys trading scared. Again, keep your volume low. If I'm going to take any of my trades, it's going to be in a volume that I'm like, okay, what's my risk? If I want to go long because of the way that's all looking, which it looks more bullish, I got to fight it to here. I got to fight it to here. I got to fight it to here, right? These are all key levels that we easily could sweep down to before we reclaim and just go to the moon, right? Now, let's look at the macro. We don't want to lose focus. What's that doing? Kind of cool, actually. I didn't even look at that. We have a push, 2 dojis, right off the POC, pushing with a close at, trying to get a close above, right? So we're almost close above our double doji, which is going to be very, very bullish, right? So if you decide to take more long scalps, again, I would not recommend being short as long as we stay above that 035 or above this daily. If you're taking your longs, just don't be reactive. You see it jump, don't just jump in. Because if it jumps, it could easily start to absorb. They're going to stop hunt it because they don't want people just, you know, going long and, you know, letting it rip, right? They're going to stop hunt it. And so just make sure you're trailing things. If you get stop hunted out, don't jump in again. Be patient, right? So let's watch and see. So we did break our confluence that was there. We did break the 382. 618 is like 93. So that might be where we breach wick next with a little resistance. The trap on the 1 minute played out really good, so that was cool. The trap on the 5 is still holding. We're like 27 overbought on the 5, so it can go up further. Usually around 30 or 40 it gets a little, we can have a deep pull. So, but let's just keep watching, see if it's doing bullish things, right? And so we know we got a breach wick. We did get the close above. That should hold this level. We should not breach wick, close below that. If we do, right, we're still consolidating, guys, and it's not going to have nearly the strength that people are going to think it's going to have, right? Because, you know, and now, mind you, anywhere here, here, or here, hell, even really here, is still within range of consolidation with the possible push, right? And so where the strength will come is what are we doing here? Because this is our...
The 5-minute structure shows bullish momentum, confirmed by the LSMA and EMA. Above current price, the 1-minute time frame continues this bullish progression, with the LSMA and anchored VWAP trending up and price holding above the 1-minute EMA 200. The 15-second time frame shows slight bullish choppiness, but the overall trend from higher time frames remains intact. This alignment suggests continuation potential, making it a valid setup. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 7 out of 10. Reason: the 5 minutes and 1 minute time frames exhibit clear bullish structure and momentum. Price is holding above key moving averages on these higher time frames, indicating underlying strength. The 1H higher time frame trendline also supports a bullish bias, and current price is trading above it. Concerns: the 15 seconds LSMA slope is relatively shallow, indicating a lack of aggressive momentum on the micro time frame. Price has also been consolidating within a range on the 1-minute chart, showing it is inside range of breaking the Heikin-Ashi high, suggesting a potential pause before further expansion. Summary: the market is currently showing strength from the longer time frames, with price trending upwards. This suggests that buyers are in control and likely to push prices higher. However, momentum on the shortest time frame is less pronounced, and price action has been consolidated, indicating a potential for a brief pause or sideways movement before any significant move.
He said less pronounced. I'll tell you, like, y'all feel like he's making up new words every day? Or is that just me? You know how the old saying, like, you got, most of you are your parents, right? Like, you always, like, people tell you stuff like, man, your kid's this, and you're like, didn't notice it, right? But, I don't know. You guys notice that? Am I crazy?
Oh, yes. Different phrases every day.
Crazy. Different words, terminology, thoughts, phrases. Like, I'm like, this dude.
I split time with my kid. He goes to his mom's for a week, and he comes back, and I'm like, dude, how do you grow so much in a week? What is happening?
Yeah, I know, right? And yeah, I have 3 kids, and so I've been there, done that, and it's just mind blowing, man, how quickly things grow. And I see Neo kind of as like our kid, right? Like he, you know, again, we jump to the conclusion of, we hear the word AI and go, oh. I had one guy reach out to me, and if you're on my TikTok, you know, I'm not saying who you are, but this is kind of the issue with the industry, right? Like, he like hopped in and he like messaged me on the side, and he's like, oh man, like within minutes of, like, I think when he got on there, and he's like, you have AI? That's sick, dude. So like, if I put 10 grand in an account, can you like link them? Can we do that now so you can trade for me? And I'm like, no, like, this is the issue with TikTok. Like, y'all, like, you don't even know me. You've been on the TikTok for about 10 seconds, right? And you're willing to just let something you haven't even seen trade 10 grand for you. It's just, that's the problem in the industry, right? And so I refuse, and everybody in here has already heard this statement, so I'm not going to go down the deep rabbit hole. I refuse to let him trade for anybody until I've gone through a series of like 8 things. It's going to be probably a 2027 project. Like, it's not anytime soon, guys. Because I refuse. If I wanted to just market it and make money, of course I could be like, he is so good, he's so smart, yeah, he'll trade for you, he's gonna make you $78,000 in 3 weeks, and y'all will be like, you know, swipe the card, like, you know, like what you, that gif what you always do, Cuddy, where you're like, take my money, like, you know, and but it's just not the right thing to do, you know, because I'm not only gonna nurture and coach him and get him smarter and all this stuff. But like, before I let anybody put their money on it, I'm going to put my own money on it, or my company money, right? And so, not just throwing your money out there. And so, it's going to be a process. So, but he's evolving. Like, he's only been, like, this is his second week, guys. That's like, what, 5? And one day I think he was down for Alex. So, he's only really had 7 days. And he's evolved so much. And so it's really cool and impressive to watch, but we gotta let our baby grow, right? And so, but he's getting there, and we're finding ways, because as we continue to grow and learn on creating AI, right? With it is we're learning of things that we can do to expedite that process, which is cool. And so, very exciting stuff for sure. But just be patient with him, guys. Anybody on TikTok, watching, he's just a baby. No, I don't know why that came to my mind, but he Neo's my baby daddy. Yeah, he's still itty bitty, guys, as smart as he sounds. But people hear the word AI and they're like, take my money. I'm like, no, we're not there yet. We're getting there. Pretty cool. All right, let's keep looking at it, guys. We are getting that pullback, right? Now, this pullback does matter, because look, we're forming a head and shoulders. This is awesome, because in that bearish structure, we have a very big bullish continuation candle, or reversal candle, with a close above a crazy resistance that it shouldn't have just reclaimed if we're going. Now, it is arguable that is the shoulder, the head and shoulders. Could be a trap for the bulls, or they're setting up a pattern for a trap for the bears. We don't really know yet, right? What I do know is we have the ORB here. Any kind of hold above here with bullish things is going to have expansion. It just does. That would be our first invalidation of a bearish pattern in an area that should probably have validated, because we're so overbought. But again, you guys know in the mentor group, as well as development program, even when this has a bearish pattern or structure, it should be doing bearish things. Looking at the DOM, for those of you guys in one of those programs, is it doing bearish things yet? What do you guys think? No? Yeah. And you guys are good. Just thumbs up, thumbs down. I know some of you guys work and you're busy.
No, that bullish pressure is still there.
It's still there. Now, we know, and I've cautioned y'all about it, be careful jumping into things, because although this looks, it's all setting up to invalidate this as expansion, anything in here, man, has just such a possibility of absolute, just harsh reversal. So, we know that this is our Lisma. We did get a breach wick here, rode up. We got another breach wick here. Logic says we should ride it up a little bit, right? We know if we get a close below that, that's going to be our first real big sign of weakness, if you will. Other areas that are important, as I'm kind of watching, are going to be like top of this doji, like 50. Top of this doji, 59. How is it respecting it on the micro? Well, 59 looks like it's being pretty respected. We lost it, created our absorption to the north, and it's been respected since. If that one breaks, there is another top there at 49, which would put it somewhere in here, right? Which is actually right where that one went. You notice that? Isn't it cool, like, especially those that I'm mentoring, I know you guys see this, but isn't it cool how we can correlate what's going on here, and it makes sense as to why this is doing what it did here? Isn't it kind of cool? I know, Brandon, since I know you can talk. Yeah, I know you thumbs up. And again, guys, you guys don't have to talk, it's fine. That's stuff that, for those that are in TikTok, or anybody, in the room that came in new that doesn't really know me, this is how I trade. I am always looking at something. I'm very analytical. I want to know the why. Why is it doing this? I'm that kid that just, my parents hated buying me toys because I would tear it apart just to figure out how it worked. And I want to know, like, if this should hold support and do bullish things, we should do bullish things, right? We should stay above certain levels on macro. Macro is always going to be my dictation of direction. This is now more bullish because we have dojis with the close above. It's bullish. Now we know we're orange, and we know we're overbought 26 or so pretty heavily. But we also know that anything above here is just free game, man. It like we could just explode. Hold on one sec. Yeah, it hit my limit order. I want to hit my TP, so I just want to make sure I got it because I'm on the intraday on this one pushing through, so I'm out of that one on it. But in this, it's setting up to get a really good expansion, but I'm not chasing it. No chance. So for me, let's just throw out a hypothetical, and then I want to unmute him again. If we get our expansion, which is what we were calling back here, it should do, which it's doing, that would be invalidation of our bearish pattern. We knew there was a good chance of this invalidation due to our absorptions that were happening in areas that they shouldn't be happening. Well, pattern-wise, we know in our push, we held our 59.60 area and our 49 area because this shows this was the area of our 59.60. We absorbed into our 49 and then absorbed back. That is a retest of both these areas we needed for the expansion. Right now, in a normal sense, and if you guys are doing it on evals, I just don't have any evals I'm trading right now. They're all funded. I would trail this, right? Because we know in this area we could just explode. So I would trail flat bottoms, maybe even the 15-second flat bottoms. You can take trend lines. There's a million ways that you can trail this, guys. Like that. You can look at prior highs, right? Because if this is going to keep strength in an area that should be really strong because we just broke through, right? We shouldn't get below these, right? This would show extreme strength if we stay above that. We still could come back and tap in these areas, as well. So, right. But if we stay anywhere above that, like those are your trails. Because this, guys, you again, I think it was like 200 and something. Let's look quickly, guys, because I know some of you are in this. Put a thumbs up if you're in this, like trailing it. So I don't want to overthink it if y'all are not even in it. You got some of you in it still. Okay, cool. So here's your area of concern the only one that I had seen was a few peaks up here, right? So you have one right there at 122. It's not much, it's just one. You have another one right here at 177, and then your big ones are going to be here, 260, 270, right? So as you're trailing, you want to kind of tighten it up through those. If we breach above 124, we're pretty certain going to 176. We breach above that, we're going to 263. It's just how it works. But more importantly, for the longer term play, at some point it doesn't have to, because see how quickly we just expand. I mean, we went here within like a few hours, up like $300 and something, right, pretty quickly. And so we can go very directly, and that's why I have no interest in shorting above this. None. I don't care if it even gets to here, guys. Nope. Because remember, my logic of created the lower low, this one has a pretty high probability of breaking. It's an all-time high. It's not a normal support or resistance, so we could reject super hard. But I know just from historical data, it's very choppy here. We didn't get true expansion to the south until we breached that level, right here. So I don't want to short anything unless I get below that. It's not happening. That's my rule. Now, if the only other way I would short, because this is another way that it plays out, is if we breach this all-time high area and then we reclaim it south. Because when you breach one and reclaim it, that usually is pretty violent. It comes back here pretty hard. So, but that's some areas to kind of watch. I don't know if you guys got domed out. If you're using a trend line, you're probably still in it. We are forming a little minute head and shoulders. This is another big one to watch, because if we breach this neckline with a breach wick, rear up, close below, and we drop, that's our bearish pattern playing out on the micro. Now, it's possible, right? Because we know we're coming into some possible resistance areas. We know that the trend line that we're watching on our GAN fan is here. And so for us to eventually come back to there is pretty probable. But we also know that the market loves when it does this expansion that it's doing, right? It loves to do things like, pull back and retest some things, right? So what shows strength is where this bounces next. If we bounce here, watch the DOM, right? Then we still got strength, guys, and it ain't done. If we pull to here and we breach wick, but we bounce back and reclaim there, the 85, then that's still strength. If we breach wick this and we have steam enough to close below that, you can see coming into here, this close below is a little better because that's some good OA. I still won't be shorting that, but do as you will. But having a pullback to retest some of these prior areas, especially even all the way to 35 is possible, right? Because we now have a breakout, and you can see how we're losing some of the highs, right? The highs matter because this is where people get caught in a retail thinking, right? Because we're taught that when we break this and we lose that high, boom, now it's resistance, let's go short. I've proven, and you guys in the mentor group, you guys can keep me honest here, is that doing that and then the reclaim almost makes that move north more violent. Now it has to reclaim it, right, which would be like that 85, just because it's now become more like a retail trap, right? And so that's why you get that violence in that move. And so that's why I don't like to chase those kind of things, right? And so we did get our pull. The bearish, this is our first little minute bearish thing that played out. It got the whole body, so I would consider it played out. I'm good with it. Now we're getting our close above our doji, right? We got the breach, but we never got a close below. Close above the doji should pull us back to the high. If it does, bulls are still strong, right? If this pushes anywhere short of that into a doji with absorption to the south, the bulls are weakening, and you might want to be careful with your longs from there going forward, right? Because the bulls are getting tired. So you can see we got the close above. We did get the buy, and it's pushing. Let's see how high this pushes. Now, a test of the high with a rejection is fine if the rejection's halfway push. If it comes all the way, still fine, but it's not as strong, right? If this push here, because of what it should do, gives us a breach wick with a new high, we're still pretty strong. And remember what I said, when we breach these lows and we reclaim it, it usually is more violent, for sure. So on this one I took a quick one just on the micro from the close of the doji for the reclaim. Again, me as a trader, I want to see these pulls with enough room, and I only need like $15 movement with the TP I'm doing because I can't watch it. And so as long as I have enough room in the pull with the doji, the close, and the reclaim of that high, right, I'm in. And so it, went in and hit my TP already. So I'm at 18.23 on that one. This is another one I'm trying to power through the intraday, and I'm really close. So you're going to find I'm going to get really cautious with this one. Because just like you guys, I feel like, and put a thumbs up if you agree, that first 1,800, 1,900, hell, even 2,000 feels so easy. But boy, that last $100 to $300 get your ass every time. Right, Bobby? Right? Me too. Because you get overconfident, right? You're like, oh, yeah. And it's different on end of day, right? End of day, I don't get that feeling whatsoever. Because I look at it as like, all right, I'm going to lower my volume, 1, 2 M&Q. For me to get $100, $200 is easy, right? On the end of day, because I know I can risk it. It's not a big deal. Now, on the intraday, every trade's a new trade, right? You could get in one bad trade that just gets you, where it shoots up, down, and that now your $1,800 in profit is just gone, right? And so it's a different beast. And so even for me on intraday, you'll find too, not always, but a lot of times, if I, like for this one, the my funded, you got to get to 2,100. If I'm in a trade and it goes over 2,100, cool. I'm going to trail it. I'm going to ride it. Let it roll. Let it rip. But if I get closed out at just below, just above 2,100, I'm on timeout. Like my rule, I put it on timeout. See the violence, guys? How that plays out? I don't know if y'all took this. I'm not in this trade, but I love to see it work. Um, the
I trailed too close. It
got you.
hit my trailer and then shot up. I was like, dang it.
Yeah, no, and so and
Got
we're
the
gonna.
take
Did
profit
you took it?
set. Yeah, I got the take profit set.
That
So I jumped up and grabbed it.
that's good, man. Hey,
That's an eval on that one. That was a beauty.
passed it. Sweet, man. Good deal.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, guys. I while it's here, if you got domed out, do not re-enter. Again, I don't care if this thing runs all the way to there. You will not see my face change. You'll not hear my tone change. You're gonna hear it maybe be like, dang, knew it was gonna do that. Cool, awesome, great. I am not taking any longs. Again, my plan, just because I'm not a continuation focused trader. I need some kind of pullback. Now, my plan, I don't need the pullback on the 1. I just want to make sure I get a decent pullback on the 15-second with a close above, and then I'm back along, right? Anything short of that, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not pushing it. I've already done... I got my 2 lucids done. I have one more day, and then I can take out another 3,600 on that. I have my funded one that I'm really close on this one for the intraday as well. So I don't really need to push. I don't have traded it anymore at all, right? But if I see something like if this were to create that high, come back and create another low that's in a trend, it hits it, gets a doji, and I got enough room from there to there, I'll take a risk and chance it on that, because if it breaks that trend or breaks here, I'm out. I'm not laddering right now. I'm not DCAing. I'm just single entry, 5 MNQ. That's all I've been doing.
I got
on that.
500, so I'm probably done.
Yeah, man. This is an absolute dangerous range. Very high probability it's going to get really far up here, but I promise you it's dangerous.
215 was the target that I had on my chart, but
yeah, it's somewhere.
I don't know if it's going to get there or not.
Somewhere in there. It's going to get there. But what I don't know is how it gets there, right? So example, these are those areas that you could literally be like tap, 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 sweep, and then just floor. And you're like, what just happened? That missed my TP by like 2 ticks, or something like that. That's the shit that gets you here. Now, this is an area that, again, is very bullish. We're pushing up. We've been calling bullish since the morning. If you look at our logic, I was teaching or showing y'all, look, we're buy, 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 buy. I don't know why. Anyways, Cody, and since you were kind of talking on that, like you and I both kind of look at that similar, where when I see these big pushes, I'm immediately going, looking for that breakdown. I'm going to short this, right? Like maybe back in the day. And that has been my Achilles heel for so long. And I think it was like a year ago now, because I don't even know. Time flies lately. But that, remember even Cody, because you've been around for 2 years, there's some sessions that we used to do back in the day that I'm like, oh yeah, we're shorting this. Like, let's look, here it comes, we're pushing up. And then I'm like, here's the confirmation. And then it just go up. And I'm like,
It'd be like today. You'd be like,
is this thing
ever
still like
pushing?
why is it still pushing? Why is it? And if you guys haven't gathered, and those on TikTok, this is just how I am. I'm a big why, like ask questions, right? And that why like haunted me. And I love being a top and bottom trader. I still not a fan of being straight continuation. So the difference is, for those that are new, would be if you get a close above here, you're banking that it's going to continue, right? Your continuation. They want to wait for the momentum confirmation of the close above to play the continuation. That's a continuation trader. For a top and bottom trader, I need a pullback with a confirmed hold to take that, right, top and bottom. Now, I know that is a subjective thing, and people will say, like, if you're a top and bottom trader, you should only be shorting right now. Well, on the 5 minute, we talking 15? Are we talking the 1 hour? Like, top and bottom just means top and bottom. If this pulls back on the 1, or like I told you I'm doing today, if it pulls back on the 15, that's still bottom, right? I'm looking for a pull, knowing there's liquidity up here, knowing that my trend is north, I can still be a continuation trend trader trading on the trend and still be a micro top and bottom, because pulling back is still bottom, created it just like I did here. Pulled back, created the bottom, closed, took my scalp, right? That's how I do it, right? This is basically, hey, I'm not saying that. You trying to get me banned on it, man? No, I love it. It's on TikTok. If you guys are on there, you see what that's funny. But yeah, we've already told Neo don't do that. But yeah, anyways, guys, so that's kind of my thought on this. Again, this still becomes a very dangerous place, because I think that if, like, you guys have seen me call it a million times, and I do not see these signs yet, so don't think I'm calling this, but we'll creep, 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 and I'm like, guys, this is getting a landmine feel, and it goes really fast, right? There is signs that I've looked for and I've learned to look for that keep me safe from that. If anything, actually help me trade it. We caught one on Sunday, pretty cool. I don't see those signs yet, but this is definitely a landmine area. Now, landmines, when I refer to them, don't always have to go up. It's just, all landmine refers to is it's a slow crawl. Think like you're walking through a landmine field. It has a nature of one way or the other, and then out of nowhere it just goes, right? Hence the landmine. So it can do it either way. I don't see signs of that yet at all. But this is a landmine area, right? We are walking through a landmine field, and I think it's a landmine field of both directions. It's in an area that at some point people, retail, hedges, are going to go, we're good, and they're just going to send this sucker, and we're going to go. Because remember, I told you, when we get that rear back, it's pretty good probability we're going to break that. But we're also in an area where you could walk, step on the wrong thing, show some weakness. The hedge fund bot algos are like, I see weakness. I don't think we got enough steam to break this, guys. Let's team up and flip it and pull it to here or here or here, right, to gain some strength, and then we'll try again. Right, that can happen really fast. And so it's a landmine area. And that's why my advice today for all of you, and I'm assuming y'all are green. If you're not, I got questions. You should either be green or red, or not red, or not trade, right? But while this is long, and while we're above these levels, my advice was no shorts. And we're playing all north, and there's really not very big pullbacks. So if you did not trade it, cool with that. I have absolute respect for you for not trading it. Don't think that you're missing anything. I think it's a great show of discipline, emotions, and strength within you to not, right? So don't sit here and go, man, all these people putting up this P&L, I should do it. Those are the FOMO things and the emotional things you got to get out of your head. You run your own race, right? And again, I revert back to what I said yesterday. Y'all heard me say in the open, we're going to push, and when we break this level, we're going straight to there. I took like 2 trades in that, and that was it. I mean, we literally, hell, those in my mentor group, we called, and guys, I'm not in a trade right now. I have no interest in doing it right now until we break back. So I'm going to give a little extra edumacation. I don't know. I like saying that. But we actually, in our mentor group, traded Sunday Asia. And I know I recently talked to Bradley. I don't know if you're in here or not, because he was on our pre-market. I don't see him in here. But so Bradley, we had a great talk. He recently joined my mentor program because he was fascinated on how I seen this coming. Now this trend line is here because of that, right? It wasn't there when we did that. And so it was funny, and those in my mentor group remember when we were doing this, as this one was going like this, I'm like, I ain't buying it. This whole thing happened because the Iran thing fired up, the whole ceasefire. And, you know, I know Cody, I think you're still there. I don't know. Cody might have dipped out. Did you dip out? You're still there. No, Cody dipped out. He's like, I'm done. Which is good. I like that he walks away from top down. But anyways, when this was coming down, I'm like, I'm not buying it. I don't think so. And then it was so funny because I never try to take credit for things that I didn't foresee or things that happen, right? But it was pretty close. Like, you guys, some of you are in the mental group in here, you can keep me honest. It was pretty close to here that I'm like, I ain't buying it. Like, we about to jump. Like, this is a landmine area. I think it's going to go up, right? Because of the way that this all broke down, kind of how I teach it. And we jumped, right? Very, yeah, Steve. That was funny because when I spoke with Bradley about it, I think yesterday and the day before, and he's like, I was watching that and I'm sitting there thinking, how the hell did you know it was going to jump and jump so hard north, right? And you're not going to find it in books. You're not going to find it on YouTube. Most people don't know how to do that, right? It's just the years of being frustrated because I was that guy that would short into this and then get caught in this shit, right? And so I've just studied how to read it, how to see the signs, and so it's a very difficult thing to teach because it's a lot of things that have to happen, right? Oscillations, candles, hammers, things that are happening within the DOM pressure. Remember in the mentor group, I was saying, I'm like, if we are this bearish and the whole world's about to collapse and this is a bearish continuation pattern, why is the DOM jumping? Remember that when I said that, guys? I was like, why is this jumping? It don't make sense, guys. This might be a landmine. And so when we talked about this, I'm just going to show you guys briefly without the time of showing the whole thing. This whole structure you will not find in a book. You will not find in YouTube's, right? Everybody and their mama said this structure is going south. We got all this stuff going. The world's collapsing. We're going to go to south. And those in the mentor group, what did I say was going to likely happen when we were reclaiming this? Well, I've really said it back here. What's it going to do? Blow off top. We're going to have an absolute parabolic north move, right?
Yeah.
And so I really laughed because there's one video that somebody made, and they're like, what is this shit, guys? Like, what is this? There's no way that you've seen this coming. If you say you've seen this coming, you're full of it because there's no technical, like, this whole thing is bearish. No way. And I'm just like, I mean, look, I'm human, guys. I love when my TA works. I love when things that I see happen before happen again. And so, I get excited about that, right? Because you guys in the development course, you guys know it's very difficult to do what I do with reading it, talking, and the added, feeling of y'all are banking on my TA being correct. My throat. Ugh. So I do an exercise in that development program, like you guys know, where you guys have to read it, interpret it, and say it for 5 to 10 minutes. And it's funny, after 10 minutes, everybody goes, whew, that's hard. And I'm like, I know, it is, right? Now imagine doing it all day, knowing that every decision you make and call, right, impacts people's P&Ls, right? It's even harder. And so when I see things play out, I don't care if I took it or not. Right? I get excited about it, right? Because I'm the value of me being able to anticipate the market is far greater than any profit I'm going to make in a single day. Period. Because I can do trading as long as I got a finger to push a button, or heck with AI, I might have a chip in my head that just like, I'm thinking about going long. Yeah, go long. Right? Who knows? I'm going to be trading. Right? And that's the beauty of this skill, is we can do it anywhere. So, but very excited to kind of see this play out. If you guys want to share your P&Ls in the chat, that's awesome. I really appreciate, because we're already almost 10:40. I'm not probably going to take a trade again until the mentor session or the development one. Do really appreciate more and more of you putting your P&Ls here. Again, Bobby, Cody, Andrew, like Andy, all these guys are putting them in there, right? Which I love it. It's, you guys all know me. I'm not doing this because I want to fluff things for people. I want to see, as a mentor, is what I'm doing helping, right? Like today, I can look at this and be like, I feel like I anticipated this movement pretty well today. But then I always think about it in the back of my mind, like, how did they interpret it, though? right? And see these sweeps coming through. This is gonna be I'm gonna digress for a second. This is a really good double top, right? Pull with a sweep. We got a breach. Should come to there. If we come to here, the way this looks, it should have steam to breach wicket, close, and maybe get into here or possibly here. If we hold this high right there, right, which would be somewhere between the 105, 107, right, somewhere here. If we can't even get to that and we pull back up and we reclaim that, it's going to be another violent push, right? So that's how we're going to identify it, because it should do that, right? The 5 minute is pushing. We are now creating doji, right? If this sets in 10 seconds, close below, we're coming back down. Close above, we're going up. Lism is all the way down here. So we can fall all the way to like 0.29, right? So for me, if I look at my macro and I see this pull based on the macro support of it pulling and the micro supports it, I would rather not short it because I don't want to short anything that is here or above. I would rather this come down. I'm cool with that. I actually want it to happen, because if this comes down here, sweeps this on the reclaim, I'll take that's the long I'll take again. I'll jump in that sucker, right? But anyways, I just like to throw it out as I see it. But again, guys, like, I just want to know, is it working, right? Is don't leave me wondering, right? Because I in my own mind, you would think I would just assume that you're green, right? Because if I called it right, it's like here, for example, if each one of these plays that I did called out right, and then you're like, well, I'm red because I kept hitting stop outs, right? Like, my mind just goes bananas, man, because I'm trying to, like, what did I say that, like, where, right? And if we're long and we're stopping out after a $30 move, your stop loss is way too tight, right? And if you're taking a short when I'm sitting here going, bullish things, bullish this, buys, this is bullish, that is bullish, and it's like, well, I took this short. I mean, that's a disciplinary issue. It's a discipline issue, guys. It's not a TA issue. But I like to know that, right? It's a normal, I'm not mad about it. You all, might be frustrated about it when you do it. It's a normal growth. Everybody does it. We've all been guilty of it. Hell, I still do it. And, don't be ashamed of that. So if you want to put a red P&L, I'm cool with it. Just put why you were red, or maybe what you learned, right? If you want to put a green one, throw it up there. If you are, I don't care how small it is, right? Green is green. Green is good, right? I love that you guys are putting some things in there, like Bobby, putting in there that, another great day, first day, profits after payouts, which is awesome. Just give it a little exciting thing, like, this is my first green day in a bit, or this is my 20th green day in a row. This is my, like, I as a mentor, as a coach, I want to know these things, because many people in my mentor program know this, but I will, if something is not working, even if it's just for a few people, I'm going to try to figure out something to make it work, right? But if I don't know it's not working, I don't know, right? Like, yeah, no, dude, what you just put there, Brent, I love. So Brent just put there, and you guys know I read into everything. $195 cautiously trading, right? Because remember, you said he was kind of cautiously trading earlier, on one MNQ with a TP and auto trail, and he made $195 on one MNQ. So for anybody out there that says, man, I don't want to do one MNQ, I can't make any money on that, $195, say $200 a day, 5 days, $1,000 a week, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, you really don't need to swing too big, right? And so good job on that. But no, I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, my mentor meetings I've had recently, it's funny because I think I shock people because I'm different in the industry. We get in and talk, and lately, the last couple I've had, I kind of shocked them with you're probably going to be surprised, but I am not going to sales pitch you. Here's my sales pitch, I guess, if it is a sales pitch. is I am not going to guarantee how fast you're going to trade. I'm not going to guarantee how quick you're going to pick up on technicals. I damn sure can't guarantee how quick you're going to get through your emotions and your discipline. What I can guarantee is what I can control, and that is the products I can create, the tools that I can create, the prices that I charge you, how hard I will work, how late the nights I will spend, how devoted I will be to doing everything in my power to get you to see this as quick as possible. That's something I can control. That's what I can promise, right? And as you guys might have seen on my TikTok I posted yesterday, that's my biggest frustration in this industry is everything's marketing pitch, and it's all over promises that they can't deliver. And at the end of the day, when you realize that they can't deliver on it, who wins? The person that you paid, not you. And so I hear that story so much. Like, I've spent all this money, and I don't really know much. And I've had many people reach out and they're like, man, I've spent like 10 grand on courses, and I've spent like a week or two with you, and I learned more than I did on the courses, right? And it's even in open sessions, right? And it's free. And so, yeah, guys. Again, I'm not taking trades. It's almost 11. I'm gonna give one last little point, and then try to leave 5 to 10 minutes here for you guys to add any thoughts or questions. If we have to go a little over, it's fine, because I think most people are in here anyways. I had a deep discussion, and it took longer in the mentor program, so I'm going to summarize it. I'm finding the same thing happen over and over with people that I've taught. And what that is back on like what I said, what I can control, what I can't control, is it's so funny because guys like Cody, Paul, and even some of you guys, Paul didn't just grow into a trader all of a sudden one day, right? Like, he was a long-term friend of mine that was like, man, you do this trading stuff, like, you want to show me? Sure, right? So, and he started around the same time. And it's funny because everybody wants to learn the master strategy. They want to learn, give me your entry exits, give me this, like, if you're so good, teach me this. And there's such a sales pitching going on about, like, I got this strategy that's proven and it'll make you 100 grand in 90 days, and like, quit your 9 to 5. Like, anytime you hear that shit, y'all should just run, unless there's data supporting something, right? But it's a sales pitch. It's funny because both Paul and Cody said the same thing. They did not find consistency in their profit, consistency in their payouts, until they learned to control and curb their emotions. They learned to squash their FOMO. They learned to be disciplined. Hell, look at Cody. I think he's still going. Let me see. Yeah, he's going. How many of you guys have been here for a bit, right? How many of you guys used to see Cody sitting here for freaking the entire market session, Asia, EU? Like, that dude traded more than Neo. I don't know. But he was just never, like, I just knew if I logged in, man, Cody's there, right? And now, look, I'm mid-talking, and he's rude and just like, I'm out, I'm done. I don't need to listen to him no more. No, I'll save that for when he gets
He doesn't
back.
even say goodbye anymore. He just dips.
Yeah, he just dips, right? And it's, well, arguably it's because I'm very passionate right now about what's going on, and so I tend to not shut up. But no, he just goes, right? But that's so big, right? He's found the discipline. He's like, I made my money. I'm gonna, and he may even take a trade later, but he's learned through me mentoring him that put yourself on timeout, walk away for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, right? Like, just get out of this, because when we trade too much of one oscillation move or structure move, we get very tunnel vision, right? We're very like you guys all have done this. I've done this where I'm like, I'm long, yeah, we're good. And then you just all you see is longs, all you see is continuations. And then all of a sudden you miss something and you get wrecked, right? And so when you hit certain goals, right? Like I said, I'm almost 1900 on this intraday one. I have $200 left. I'm on timeout. I am not taking a trade. I'll probably take one maybe after 11, but that's it. I'm on timeout. And so, but going back to that, if the commonality of everybody that I've taught is that they don't get payouts, consistency, all these things until they really do arguably two things. One, well, three. I remember I said two, and then so three. The first one is your FOMO. You cannot have FOMO. I have done this many times with you guys where I'm like, if this does this, this should drop to there. That is like 100-point move. I didn't take it, and I don't care because it did not fit in my rules. I will not take a short anywhere above here today unless we get really high, right? Which I probably still won't. It's just not in my rules, right? And so clear the FOMO. I don't care. I literally call the bottom. Granted, it was, a few weeks ago with this blow off top. And I've taken a lot of longs, but I'm not taking all of them, and I've not taken all the move. And I just look at it and I'm still excited. I don't care. Your FOMO has to go away. You have to be able to walk away and not care what the market does. That is the most important above all, I think, from the emotions. The second thing is you've got to control your emotions and your discipline, right? Do not get emotional. Everything's got to be TA, right? It's got to be, through TA, over trading, all that. It all couples into that emotional thing, right? Because in the FOMO, because over trading is actually a sign or condition of FOMO, right? You're over trading because you don't want to miss it. I went through a big period of my time of trading when I was really trying to capture landmines where it would be coming down and I'm like, I'm going to watch, I want to be in because the landmine's coming, and then landmine's coming, and then next thing you know, your account breaks and then landmine hits, right? And you're like, oh, because you're over trading, chasing something in the hopes it goes without seeing the signs of it doing it, right? So you got to squash the FOMO, discipline, emotions, all that. That is the part, guys, I absolutely cannot control. It could take you months, weeks. I have people that are months into trading that are like, I'm getting a payout every week. But I, like Cody, even Paul, I think it took like a year and a half before he got his first payout, right? And he shared it in my mentor group, guys. He's on his like 8th or 9th day. I don't, you're still in here, Paul, I don't remember. But like almost consecutively of like what, $500 was, I think I seen in there. And the control of that profit tells me he's not FOMOing. The control of that profit tells me that he's got control. He's disciplined. He's not swinging for that big fence all the time, right? Like new people that show up like, man, I'm 2 months in and look at this. I had $3,000 days. Y'all make me nervous because if you're swinging that big at that kind of level of expertise, your ass is about to get whipped at some point because you were just not ready for that, right? And that's the euphoric feeling that will take you over. Now, I know we'll give you time to answer on that, Brent. So my last point is something that I've been saying for quite some time, and it was never a plug to that individual, and it still isn't, is when I taught my group back in the day, a lot of people that are in here, I've always said one thing. You will find consistency, or I found consistency. I found more success in my trading, more confidence in my trading when I took what I learned and I made it my own and I stopped trying to be CK or somebody. That logic is still the same for me. Y'all got to find your way, right? And that's why I'm always saying like continuation traders, top and bottom traders, right? Like that. I'm a top and bottom trader. I just don't really care for continuations, right? I know that I don't care how hard this goes up. Once it reaches its top and I get good signs, I'm going to make a bunch of money on the way down. That's me clearing that FOMO. Paul is a continuation trader. He loves those continuations. He's in here licking his chops going, this thing's about to jump. I'm going to take a long if it, whatever. Whereas I'm looking at it going, no chance, and holy hell, I'm taking this long, right? Both can be right. Right? And you got to find your own path. You just have to. Now, if what I'm doing makes a lot of sense to you and you find success in it, cool. Right? But the model that I teach, the way that I teach it, micro, macro, breakdown, this should do this, the whys, the traps, all that, it's a broad spectrum, but it's the same thing. It's very repeatable, right? And it's very repeatable for you to read the market to understand continuation or top and bottom. Then you just got to find out what is good for you, right? And you do that through replay, experience, all that stuff, right? But, technicals are not the problem in trading, guys. It's emotions. It is. The quicker you figure that out. The last part is the volume. And then and then I'll read what you said on that. Cody, look, I wish he was here because he'd be like, yep. Got y'all. It took him a year, almost even maybe.
I just came back.
Okay, okay. Now I want to hear the yep. What was it? A year to a year and a half. That I remember our first couple meetings. I'm like, you're like, I don't get it, man. And I'm like, what volume you use? Well, I use like 1 and 2 NQ, and I'm like, that's pretty heavy. He's like, yeah, but I like to get in and out, higher volume, get my profits. I'm like, you should probably lower it. He's like, maybe. And how long did it take for you actually took that advice? You're like,
yeah, it was like a year and a half.
He's like, this guy don't know nothing. I'm good with my 1 NQ, right?
Like in the beginning, I was like 5 NQ. Like,
yeah. What's this guy talking about?
These e-bouts quick.
Yeah. What's he talking about? 1 MNQ. I'm out here making $2,000 on one trade. He wants me to make $20, $200. Like, it's like, but it's so funny, and I love this just as a mentor, man, just to watch you guys figure this stuff out on your own. But the moment, because Cody's in the mentor program, so he has my number, right? The moment we talked on the phone one time, and he's just like, I really do like having that volume really low because I can cut a loss and it doesn't kill me, and I can, if I want to hold that, I have room to play it or wiggle out of it or trade out of it. Like, I got options. He's like, kind of like that.
You can be wrong, and it's okay.
You can be wrong and you don't care, right? Your emotions are good, right? But when you're 5 NQ here and it sweeps even a little, you're like, shit, and likely it broke it, right? Like, well, that sucks.
Barely goes negative, and you're like, well, that's not good.
Yeah, and I remember even as recent as, 6-7 months ago or something like that, in our mentor group, we had a few I was mentoring, and we would literally be calling stuff, and then it would sweep. I'm like, all right, cool, sounds good, it's going to sweep. All right, we're starting to go. It would do one wick and then just moon like this. And me and everybody else in the group are like, all right, I'm trailing it, let's go, we're profit. And Cody's like, son of a bitch, that just literally hit my stop loss, and now it's going up. So I'm red, y'all are green, cool, I'm going to leave. Right, remember that?
Yeah.
And I was just like,
it wasn't that long ago for sure.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 months maybe. And so if all those things come into play, and this is all great discussion, which is why I don't mind if this goes a little longer. Many of you in this room, even in this community, even in my mentor program, are still struggling to either get a payout or struggling to sustain payouts. This is such an important topic because your TA might not be the problem. Your volume is likely the problem. Your emotions is likely the problem. Your FOMO is probably pretty good, the volume, or the problem. Y'all got to fix that stuff, and that stuff I cannot guarantee. And that's why I cannot stand people out there going, I guarantee you like, sales.
I promise you that the dollars add up quick, even with low volume.
Yeah, I've been 5M and Q on this one, mostly singular trades, and I'm at 18.23 on 5M and Q. Like, so people that, I need 2 and Q, you don't need it. So y'all watched me in the mentor group. Remember when I did that one day? Now, granted, I was laddering, so I had stacked volume at times, but I was laddering, I think 1 or 2 M and Q with like a 5-rung allowance, and I did like 10K and went to a pro account on take profit. You don't need big volume, right? Big volume is just in and out, right? It doesn't give you room to wiggle, right? Room to play. So, but anyways, guys, self-reflect that. The TA usually is not an issue. Some of you it is because you're new, but if you've been doing it for a year, 2 years, and you're still kind of struggling or you're emotional, I promise you, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, it's emotional. It's a FOMO thing, it's an emotional thing, it's a discipline thing, it's a volume thing. I can lead the horse to water, right? But I love seeing the breakthroughs, Cody doing it, Paul doing it. There's been a couple of weeks, I think Paul had made more than I did even on a payout. I'm like, man, the student's starting to surpass the master. And so it just happens, right? But just be patient with yourself, guys. Everybody has a story of struggle. Everybody who is successful in this industry has a story of struggle, a story of beating. And it's a terrible analogy, right? But I feel like it's almost like the market has to beat you into submission before you are willing to accept certain things. Is that a terrible analogy, Cody? You think, or it's pretty spot on, I think. But
no, eventually you just got
You just
You're
get
so
numb to
low,
it.
you're like,
Yeah, you just get numb to it.
Right?
So, but anyways, guys, that was kind of like what I wanted to really touch on. I know, Brent, you typed your thing right there. So you just said, I was just going to say I used to chase that landmine as well, more for me. Chasing short at the top, and I blew so many accounts, just wanting to be right. It wasn't even about the money made on the trade. Just wanted to validation of being right and convince myself. Yeah, exactly. And that also falls in the like why we take short profits but we let losers go forever is because all of us in here, whether you admit it or not, have some form of a complex that you don't really want to be wrong. Right? We don't really want to lose. I mean, even me, I hate
Good
losing.
thing I'm never wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Well, now, I mean, before you were always wrong, but now you're, sitting on 2 wallets just to keep you stable.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm not good.
He's like, yeah, my office chair sits on a pile of cash. You guys have that, right? Like, Cody, you crack me up, dude.
Y'all get bullets? I didn't know it was.
But yeah. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna do my little closing thing here. If most of you are in here, my development program, if you have a question, let's hold it for that, just so we can kind of hold some time. If you're not in the development program, then you can still ask your question on that. I'm gonna throw out something for you guys too, and this goes for TikTok as well. If you enjoy what I'm doing, if you enjoy how I trade, if you enjoy how my mind works, if you enjoy the transparency that I'm trying to bring into the industry, and you just want to dip the old toes in, right? Just email me, nick@nextstepalgo.com. Not hard to remember, so you don't have to write it down quickly. It's just my name, Nick, and then the website at nextstepalgo.com. Make a support ticket, something. I have no issue if somebody is really wanting to do this, giving a few weeks or maybe even a month of kind of a free trial into the development program, right? It's fine with me, but just reach out, right? So we can kind of work with you on that. You guys will find. I mean, we're a business. Obviously, we got to make money too, but I really don't want to price gouge, man. I only want to make money if y'all are making money. Is my goal, right? So that way, it's kind of like we earned our own keep, right? We paid it for ourselves, so that's my deeper goal. So, but if you're looking for mentoring, anything like that, guys, TikTok or on here, if you go to the mentorship program, we are closing in on my 50. I think it's like 6 or 7. I'll have to look that I've already met with that are approved, and so that's why the number's a little higher than what we have in the group in the private chat. They're just deciding on a few things, right? And some are just waiting on a few things, but this number's closing. I am not. This is, you guys have known from those who know me, and I don't sales pitch. This is not a sales pitch to say, hurry up, guys, we get to 50, hurry up, and then y'all get to 50, and then I go, good news, we're doing another 50. Like, it's not that. I will never go over 50. The deep unless, right, would be unless someone like Paul is like, I'm good, I could lead some, or I could lead 50, or maybe we create some crazy tools or things that allows me to do more, but I refuse to dilute this program. And anybody in my mentor group has my personal phone number. I am not afraid of the number 50 because, as Paul will tell you, when I was in AT&T, for us to manage a crew of 50 is not uncommon. So getting 50 people to text me regularly, right, Paul? It's the old duty shift that we used to do. Did he leave? Yeah, he dropped off. But we used to do different shifts in there where you're actually getting text messages from like 200 people, right? So 50 doesn't scare me, but I don't want to delete the program. And so I will not go over 50. Probably will never go over 50 this year. That's my probably deeper commitment. So when this number gets to 50, I'm done. Like, you're in, you're out, and even if you're, like Mick, I used to trade with you all the time. We're besties, Shoot, my sister could call and be like, I need your mentor. No, I'm at 50. No, maybe it won't be that dramatic. But it's important to me, man, that I give the focus that's needed to the 50 that are there. We'll create a waiting list after that you guys can join. If you are even slightly interested, you don't have to pay anything to talk to me. You just click on it, and that you're interested, or reach out to me on an email. Let's get on a call. Let's talk about it, right? If you need some time, if, whatever, let's talk about it, right? I'm pretty easygoing with that stuff. So, but as this is closing in, I told Alex, I'm like, you might want to put something on the site, because I don't want people thinking like, he's just sales pitching it to make it sound like it, so people sign it. Like, it's not that. So I can't see what you're trading at so small. Yeah, we're mostly done trading right now, and so, but we're going into our development side of that. But we trade the MNQ, the micro NASDAQ contract. So, anyways, guys, if you're interested, reach out. I have a suspicion that this is going to close pretty quick, probably in the next week or two. So, it's kind of all I got, really, guys. Other than that, trading courses for those in the mentor group as well as VIP. You guys get the trading course free. If you're not in those programs, you can purchase it. This one was really good, but it's just a baseline of just teaching you what NQ is, what this market is, right? This is where the fun begins, charting foundations. Paul does an absolutely phenomenal job with this. This is our training courses, guys. Not like anything you probably have seen. The illustration in there does have full audio, so when you open the book,
charting foundation,
right, it's going to read it to you. I can drag it, I can click it, however I want to do it. The illustrations are amazing, right? So when you see terms and you actually see what it's supposed to be, the illustration is there. You're going to get a quiz. You got to take the quiz. It's going to have ebook, workbook. Like, we're going to make sure you really understand this. If you're in VIP in your mentor group, it's free. So you can do this one now. If you're not, I think it's like, I don't know if I have a coupon on it. I need to look at that. We might coupon it down for you guys. It's pretty cool, I didn't tell you. Did you go through 2 yet? See how it gets a little deeper? Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? And that's just getting started. Wait till you get to like 6, and I think it was Ryan, I know you went through a lot of it. I think, wasn't it like 7 or 8? Like, once you get into the risk management, man, it just, there's a lot of emotional stuff in there, discussion-wise. So, we're going to pump these out as quick as we can, guys. We have 52 written. We have 8 that are mostly developed that he's fine-tuning. That's why we added them in there, coming soon. Don't hold them to it, but he said that probably week to 2 weeks each release. So, which is gonna be what it likely takes you to get through them, anyways. So they're gonna be coming out pretty quick. So I want to make these affordable, so I don't think I have a coupon on this one yet. Don't go out and buy it if you're not part of the program yet. We'll get another coupon on there. So probably like, again, between 30 and 50 bucks, something like that, as we go. I don't want people y'all out there spending thousands on courses.
Yeah.
Not smart. What?
Might be something out. Like, looks like we may come down a little bit.
Yeah, Lisma breakdown. So what I need is the trend line I see here. So we have a push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, or just push, pull. When this does this on the micro, like that, Cody, for me to see, I agree with you because we're kind of riding Lisma. This right here should breach wick and just blow through it, or breach wick, rear back, and then blow through it. If it does that, you do have OA there. That would be our true pullback. It should pull back because, again, we need a cool off period. We're way over bought. So we'll go over that in the development session. But yeah, anyways, so many cool things, guys, coming out. I don't want to keep going through it because we got to get into the development session. But if you're interested in joining the development session, you'll see the light will turn green here once I move to that one. All you got to do is click on development program, and you can sign up there, and you can come in and trade. So we have so many cool things. Another announcement I did to the mentor group, but I'm not going to share, is like I said, the deep indicator. I'm going to give to them, and that'll probably be only for them, not even VIP, because we weren't going to give it to anybody. It's more for Neo, right? But anyways, guys, if you're in development, Hey, you be quiet. My dogs think I'm getting up to go because I stood up. If you're in development, let's jump into that and ask questions. We'll turn Neo on as well. I didn't really go into him much, but I'll audit this a bit. Yeah, let's jump into that session. So let me drop off. I'm gonna drop off TikTok, guys. Appreciate you joining. If you want to come in, just come in. nextstepalgo.com and check us out. You guys can trade even for free. You can come. Like even he might have already left. That said it was small. Like you guys can come into the Google Meet. It's free. So, but dropping off that. See you guys.